All right, good morning, good morning, good morning. Wolf right here. Welcome, welcome.
Big selection. That's what I've got.
All new agents to the channel. We're gonna go right into it. Specialization setup. For this, we're gonna be going technician, mainly for the linked laser pointer. So we're gonna utilize that for this build. So today we're gonna be doing striker. That a buddy of mine who just started playing this, and he was completely lost. So me explaining to him this whole setup took him a little bit, but he got it down packed pretty good, and he ended up doing his first striker setup. So we're gonna dive into the striker setup here with this. As I said before, going right into the specialization technician specialization for this. And that's going to be for this guy right here, the linked laser pointer. It's going to pulse the targets automatically. Okay, I'm going to get into that later, but that's specialization. Weapon setup for this is going to be easy. Third slot, you can do whatever you want on the third slot. The second slot, you guys have to run the rock and roll or the ACS 12. So one of these three, ACS 12, lefty here, with what is the other one? I love this rock and roll. So you're gonna have to run this setup, and I'll explain more in a little bit, just covering weapons, how that ties into striker setup. Now, primary setup, you can roll with whatever you want, auto rifle wise and SMG wise. For this one, I'm gonna run the carbine 7. Ended up getting this to drop during countdown, so I'm gonna take full advantage of it. Now for this, we're going to be using the talent flatline. You're going to get that amplified 50, get that free 15% damage for pulsing enemies. In combination of using the technician specialization, using the linked laser pointer. Okay. So this is going to be the setup here. Just know weapons wise, you guys can run whatever you want on here. I'm just using the technician specialization to have free access to a little bit of bonus damage, and you'll see in the setup. But you can run Eagle Bearer, you can run exotic slots here because you're running the ACS 12 or the rock and roll variations of the ACS 12. So you can run an exotic in the exotic slot for your auto rifle. I know for this setup, a lot of people often will either run Eagle Bearer, will often run the St. Elmo's engine. So if you got it, great. Chameleon, capacitor. So like I said, you can run any type of setup you want here, auto rifle wise. F2000, shield breaker, CTAR, the CTAR 21, honey badger. It's whatever. Just make sure, pay attention to the actual talents, because the talents is what's gonna help out with your overall build majority of the time with these weapons here. So for the carbine 7, I got the damage to target out of cover. I always often roll with damage to target out of cover, or with this one here, damage to armor. And then whatever talent that I want to roll with, that I can modify and change out the talent. Like this one has strand on it, and I can change that if I want to. Whatever setup that I'm trying to acquire mainly for my new guys that's working on their build setup. Okay, so remember, all this is for you guys that are coming to this game brand new, and you're still trying to grasp this concept of building. So that's the weapon setup here. So now we're going to talk about striker gear set here. So here's the setup that I got going. We'll go into the battle gear setup. So 2-piece, you're gonna get that increased weapons handling. So that's faster reloads, faster reloads, aiming down sights. That's gonna help with the weapons handling. 3-piece is gonna be 50% rate of fire, so you're gonna get increased rate of fire. Now normally increased rate of fire for, let's say, carbine 7 right now is sitting at 909. Normally, without the striker setup, it's sitting at 750 RPMs. RPMs, if you don't know, that stands for rounds per minute. So that's what that is there. So just running the striker setup here with getting access to Striker's Gambler. That's the 4-piece setup there. And with that increased rate of fire, you are increasing it from 750 to 909. So just pay attention to that. It does help with a lot of these weapons. That's why, in particular, most people often will run. They will often run, let's say like the F2000, because it jacks it up to the rounds per minute being over 1,000. And then you have a magazine of 60, so you're just pumping out rounds, which will amplify the damage because you're just hitting them with tons of bullets. So that's why a lot of people often run like the F2000 or the Shield Splinter or any variation of these bull pulp design weapons. Bull pulp design meaning the magazine's in the back of the magazine is in the back of the pistol grip. So that's what that means. Okay, so covered that. Now going back to this 4-piece setup here, you're gonna get the Striker's Gamble. So weapon hits increase total weapon damage by 0.65%, stacking up to 100 times. So between 0 to 50, you lose 1 stack per second. Then if you hit 100 stacks, you're only going to lose 2 stacks per second. Between 50 to 100, you'll lose 2 stacks per second. Between 0 to 50 stacks, you'll lose 1 stack per second. Okay, so that's how the Striker's Gamble is going to work. And I'm going to go into that 0.65% in a little bit. But here's the setup that I got here. Weapons core, crit hit chance, crit hit damage. And then for the backpack, weapons damage core, double crit hit chance. For the gloves, got armor core, crit hit damage. For the knees, running weapons damage core and crit hit damage. So that's for your Striker setup here. And then for the 2 yellows that we're running here, I'm running the Fenris group brand set. And that has your core weapons damage attribute, armor regen, crit hit damage, or double crit hit damage. And then run a Delstone here, mainly because of that armor regen. I'll get into that in a little bit. Armor core, crit hit chance, crit hit damage. So Striker's Gambles. Now here's the setup with this. Why we're gonna run, or how this benefits the build overall. So the talent, remember your chest piece and your backpack always has the inserted talents. So for the talent for the Striker's gear set, you want the talent risk management here. That's going to increase total weapons damage gain per stack from Striker's Gamble from 0.65% to 1%. So it's going to jump that up to 1%, which is a big deal. Okay, so that's why often with the Striker setup, you're always going to see them running the 4-piece in this manner here, or swapping out the mask and putting the Striker's holster. I will never see anyone. I often don't see anybody running the Striker's chest piece. Striker's chest piece. Now for the Striker's chest piece, its hidden talent there is the press the advantage. That's going to increase the stacks from 100 to 200, and then between 100 and 200, you're going to lose 3 stacks per second. Okay, I often don't see people running the chest piece because now you have to put in more work to get up to 200 stacks to overall increase your stacks. And you're better off running a chest piece that has a much more resourceful talent to utilize. It's gonna overall help your build. So that's why I don't really see a lot of people running the Striker's chest piece. They always say run the backpack because the backpack does outweigh the chest piece due to you allowing to increase that weapons damage from 0.65% to 1 full percent. And that's you getting hits. Okay. So with this whole setup, this is how we're going to run this with the Striker gear set. Now for the chest piece itself, the Fenris group chest piece, we're running the 10% assault rifle damage that you're going to get that additional damage added on in there. And then for the talent itself, we are running spotter. That's going to increase weapons and skill damage by 15% to pulsed enemies. That is why we are running the technician specialization here with the linked laser pointer being attached to the under barrel attachment. Okay, it's going to automatically pulse them, and you're instantly going to get access to that 15% damage by pulsing them with the laser pointer. On top of that, with the Carbine 7, we have the talent flatline on here, so that's going to amplify weapons damage by 15% as well. So because you're running the link laser pointer, you get free 15% damage plus the chest piece, so we're getting 30% damage on top of us running Striker's Gamble, which is going to give us more damage when we increase our stacks, when we get our stacks up. Okay, so that's how that's going to work here, which is essential to running the ACS 12. So that's how that setup is. Now for this setup here, you guys, you don't need, this is just one setup for, you know, for all the newer players with this. This is one setup here. So running this chest piece, you can run a number of different other chest pieces with various talents. Okay, you don't need to run this exactly. This is just one piece of mini puzzles. So for this setup here, instead of running, let's say, spotter, I mean, you could run what we got. I'll give you an example. We could run obliterate on here with that 10% assault rifle damage. You can swap out the assault rifle for a SMG and utilize the Sokolov setup, because you're going to get 10% SMG damage on top of, like, let's say unbreakable, which I'll get into that in a little bit. So there's a number of ways you can do this. You can run perfect Vanguard. If you're running a shield, pop your shield to hand out armor to your group if you're running with a squad. So there's a number of ways you can do this. This is just one particular way, and you can always fine tune these builds to meet your playstyle. Just understand that. This is just giving you guys a little bit of help so you can kind of get your foot through the door and understand how to build with the Division 2. So that's how we're going to run this. That spotter with the flatline combination, that's 30% free damage on top of Striker's Gamble. Okay, and then the holster I got is just a Bellstone holster. That's just going to help with the plus 1% armor regen, and I'll explain that in a little bit too. Well, this is how we gonna run this. Okay, now stacks. What do we mean by getting stacks? So how the build is gonna work, I'm gonna head down to the range. I'll show you guys this. But I don't even know where I'm at. Where am I? There we go. All right, check it out. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to the range, and I'll show you guys how the striker setup works.
Incoming backup request.
Come on, give me vulnerable. Yeah. All right. So backtracking, says here weapons hits increase total weapons damage. We're on the backpack, so it's going to be by 1%, stacking up to 100 times. Okay. So this is why, if you look, and that's underneath my ammo count, you'll see the striker symbol. The moment you start hitting the target, that gauge is going to start to go up. Now, see how slow that's kind of going up? This is why we're running the ACS 12 here, because the ACS 12, or rock and roll, the ACS 12 variant, just shooting this is going to increase that stack up tremendously with extreme ease of use. So when we're running this, switching over to the ACS 12, you see my striker meter is starting to, we're losing stacks. So you're going to lose stacks per second based off of what this already says here. From 0 to 50, you're going to lose 1 stack per second. And if you're between 50 to 100, you're going to lose 2 stacks per second. The goal is to keep the stacks up, because if you have your stacks at max, you're going to double out. You're going to dish out tremendous amount of damage, in combination with running the technician specialization using the flatline perk with that link laser pointer and the spotter perk, or the spotter talent. Okay, so you're going to pump out a nice amount of damage just utilizing all of that. So ACS 12, this is how slow the M4 or the carbine. You see, yeah, we're getting the builds, and now you got to reload, you lose seconds. So you're eventually going to get your stacks up eventually, right? Now with the ACS 12, we're going to let those stacks disappear real quick. That ACS 12 setup here, I'll show you how quickly your stacks are gonna get up there. So this is why most veterans, if you'll see, they'll always say run ACS 12 so you get your stacks up quick, and now you'll be able to pump out and dish out damage. The disadvantage to this setup is if you are in combat, you have to figure out a means to get that damage, which you can by just hitting them and spraying with the ACS 12, and then you can do additional damage with the carbine 7 or SMG, whatever it is that you're running. All right, so it's low enough. Look how quickly we'll get the stacks up running ACS 12. Stacks is already up. Now you can switch to your carbine 7 and just pump full of damage all the way through, taking down everything that you can with this, and just keep those stacks up by getting kills or getting weapon hits. So that's how Striker's Gamble is going to work for you guys running this setup here. Hopefully that kind of explains it, because I know with my other buddy, he couldn't grasp that concept until he actually started applying it, and then it made sense. It clicked. He said, "Oh snap! I can do mad damage now." So that's all that is. With that being said, skills, going to the skills. For the skill setup here, I'm just gonna run for this setup here. I'm just gonna run the shield. I'm gonna run the drone. Like I said, the drone, I like the drone because it distracts them and pulls them out there, and then you can pick them off. I'll do the second variation that you'll often will see later on in a little bit once I'm done with this one here. But this is the setup that I'm normally gonna run. Now going into stats. With the stats here, with the weapon setups themselves, you can see there I am running straight crit hit chance with the 20 round mag, and then another crit hit chance. So sights, crit hit chance, mag, 20 round mag. That's running a laser pointer of course, and then the muzzle brake's gonna be crit hit chance. So that's how that's gonna work out with that. But stats overall, here's how the stats look with this setup. So weapon damage, we're at 96k, and then crit hit chance, we're going 43.9%, crit hit damage 114%. I'm not too concerned about the headshot damage. And then the overall all weapons damage 66%, and then assault rifle damage, we're at 40%. That's the bonus damage. Okay, so that's the setup here. Just keep in mind with that Striker's Gamble, it's gonna work even. It's gonna be even better when you have the right amount of crit hit chance and crit hit damage, because you need crit hit chance in order to help amplify your crit hit damage. So that's how you'll end up getting those big numbers whenever we're hitting the target. You see the color code for all of that. Well, I gotta stacks up. You start to see the red numbers, that's your crit hit damage being amplified because of crit hit chance, as well as Striker's Gamble in combination. So everything ties in and helps increase your damage. That's why, hands down, the Striker setup is the best DPS setup in the game for all my players. It is the best DPS. I cannot argue with that. All right, now with that being said, let's try out the setup here, do some combat play, and have some fun with this build setup. So I'll show you guys this. All right, do some combat play. Stand by. Stand by. I get to stand by because I'm a firearm instructor. The military side of the house. So as always, shooters ready on the left, shooters ready on the right. Stand by. Then you hear that buzzer go off, and just guns blaze. Bow, 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 bow. Anyway, stand by.
There should be a data center near the vault. You're gonna need to get the access codes to the...
Beginning search query. An agent is no longer in your group. An agent needs assistance.
Boom. Who's in my stacks?
Search query finished. Subject located.
President Ellis. Oh, the helicopter on standby to extract.
Lockout procedure initiated.
That doesn't sound good. Isaac, do you have a way out of the vault?
Searching for a way out of the vault. 0 matches.
Piece of shit wristwatch. Okay, let me see. If you can punch through the west wall, there's a maintenance tunnel running alongside your position. It's a long shot, but it's the only one we got. Isaac, plot a path to the president's location.
Highlighting most expedient route.
Son of a bitch, it actually worked. Thanks, Isaac.
I forgot about the valve. You can get that ammo, man. You can get that ammo. Alright, let's have some fun.
Don't understand. I've got the goddamn division raining down my head.
Ooh, we got a big guy.
Give him here if you can get him on comms.
Heads up, we're inbound to your location. Coming in over the HQ. Keep your heads down.
Hostile radio intercepted.
Well, that's a load of shit. Kill every last one of those fuckers. I want them dead. Roach, our gear supply will dry the fuck up if word gets back to the rest of the council that we lost the president. We'll get him, ma'am. Fuckers aren't going anywhere but down.
Yeah.
An agent needs assistance. Serious trauma detected.
Oh no!
Agent down.
Oh, I didn't even see them right there. Jeez.
Agent
Oh!
killed.
Oh, you're gonna die. Oh yeah, you're gonna die.
Agent down.
Keep going in that little corner right there. Oh! Alright, so that's that setup here. So you can see, I mean, you can pump out a nice amount of damage. It was getting up to, 800, 900k once you got Striker's Gamble, fully going in combination with the spotter and flatline perk work together. But that ACS 12 is vital, especially if you have the chance to get your stacks up. You can get your stacks up utilizing that. But alright, so that's that setup. Now the fun part, check this out. So that's the first variation. Second variation, we got over here going into this setup here. Now this is the setup you guys will often see a lot of the hardcore, vet players running, where they're just straight all red, utilizing the Ouroboros with the ACS 12 and running for the skill setup, the decoy to distract, and then running a revival. Okay, so the difference here is we are now running Coyote's Mask. The Coyote's Mask is the exotic helmet with the perks Pack Instinct. You and all allies get a bonus based on the distance of the last known enemy. So you can see there the distance, the 0 to 15 meters, you're getting 25 crit hit damage, 15 to 25 meters. You're getting 10% crit hit damage and 10% crit hit chance. If you're 25 plus meters, 25% crit hit chance. Okay, and that's shared among all parties if you're running in a squad. Okay. Now, this exotic mask, you guys can get this exotic mask over. There's a few ways you get this. You could get this running the summit target loot mask, or you could get it running the countdown target loot mask. So how you target loot, that's pretty simple with running that. You just open up your map and you can see down there where it says Y, open countdown menu, down, select target loot. Just go over countdown, hit down, and you can just pick a mask. So here, pick mask. That will target loot the mask for countdown. Same thing with the summit, same thing, target loot mask. And then where you normally get this mask is going to be the Jefferson Trade Center, I believe. Let me make sure. Let's second check this. Yep, there it is, Coyote. So this will be the mission here. You can actually run this and Coyote drops the mask, but it's like a 2% chance. I think the percentage increases as you play it on a higher difficulty setting with directives 2, I believe. I ran this maybe like, I don't know, 20 something times before it finally dropped for me. So that'll be your best bet in regards to getting this mask. Okay, but it's a very good mask because it's just going to help amplify damage. Chest piece we swapped out. We're running the Sokolov chest piece that has 10% SMG damage. Right there is all red. The whole build is red. The difference here is the talent. We're running unbreakable. So when the armor is depleted, repair 95% of your armor. So because this all red setup, here's the downfall to Striker itself for my newer players. That players could probably agree or disagree, whatever the case may be. But this setup here, you are lacking in armor. Okay, so you have to be very, very tactful when you're dealing with engagements. You're gonna have to utilize cover, run from cover to cover, know your surroundings, pay attention to the ads, who's flanking you. You have to pay attention when running all red. Okay, this is an acquired skill set. Like, I suck at doing that. I'm gonna tell you right now. So I'll run it and I'm gonna die. I probably will die, but it's all good. But this is overall good DPS if you can get over the lack of armor hump, which, like I said, this is you have to have a skill set for this. You got to run this, get used to running like this, and then just be overall good with the build setup. Because most vets will say, get good. And yeah, you got to get good. So they're not lying. But this is the setup here. So you got the decoy, you got the reviver. So if you go down, you can revive yourself. Before you going down with the reviver skill here, you're going to get the unbreakable to proc first. And that cooldown is 60 seconds. That's normally how I often see a lot of veteran players run this. Now, you don't have Ouroboros, that's cool, no problem. You have other ones, you have other weapons you can use. You can use the Banshee, you can use the code relations, because on top of running the Striker's Gamble, the code relations setup itself is going to beef it up to 800 RPMs, instead of the Ouroboros being, 1,688 rounds per minute. That's why everyone loves this gun. It just spits out hot fire. But that's what that is. And then the Dark Winter 2, that's 1380. You're just limited with the magazine, but it will still work regardless. And then of course these other SMGs. Okay, this SMG is the only SMG, the Dark Winter, or any variation of that. So the Vector itself, this is the only SMG itself that can actually run the Link laser pointer. All other SMGs can't do it. So if you got a SMG that has flatline talent, like this one has flatline, this is the only other SMG that can run that Link laser pointer. Okay, so if you decide to run this setup and you need a little bit of extra damage, you can run the Technician with the flatline perk right there. So you get the additional 50% weapons damage on top of getting 10% SMG damage. Or I'm not running that. Okay, I'm running Unbreakable because you need Unbreakable for this setup in particular. Okay, and then I'm running Gunner right now because every time you get kills, you get armor back on kill. You can also swap this out for, let's say, like the Palisades armor set that has automatically 10% armor regen. So now you're going to be running 20% armor regen, and then you can swap out the talent for the Palisades. Where is it? I don't have one on me, but you can run the Palisades, the Steelworks new brand set that has automatic 10% armor on kill, 20% armor on kill, running gunner, and then you can swap out that talent with unbreakable as long as you got the correct core and normal attributes. So that's like one idea you could get thrown at you in regards to helping up your survivability with this build setup itself. Okay, but this is the build setup itself here, running straight damage that you will see. Okay, so I'm gonna get into some combat play so you can you can see me get freaking wrecked. I'm gonna get wrecked. I'm not used to playing like this. But all right, I'm going to some combat play. Stand by. Oh.
I'm seeing a lot of hostiles by the docks. They're securing the boats.
They must be waiting for the order to launch. If the strategist gets on one of those boats, we'll lose our chance to bring him in. Keep moving. You're almost there.
It's not bad at all.
Immediate medical assistance needed. Agent out of action.
What was that? Dude, glitching all over the place. Oh man, he has a hard on for you, man. He went straight for you.
Vital signs critical.
Oh man.
Agent incapacitated.
Jeez. Cletus is down. Oh man,
Serious trauma
he's
detected.
suicide. Guys, man. Watch him chase after me. Okay, alright. Ooh, watch it.
You're almost at the dock, Agent. Hope you're not too late.
Alright, so backtracking on this, you can see like I got downed a few times, but that reviver helped. and then the unbreakable did proc a few times that saved me. So like I said, this, you got to be real tactful or tactical on your surroundings and the enemies around you, but it does dish out DPS pretty good. And yeah, man, so if you could get this mask, definitely get the mask and try out this setup. And remember, you guys can fine tune this any kind of way that you want. So that's all it is. Fine tune it, play with it, enjoy it, have fun with it. That's all it is. So this is all for, you know, the newbies or the new guys hopping in and have some fun with this. All right. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like in the comment. Hit the like button and subscribe button, and you know, leave some input in the comments, especially for my vets too. You could chime in to add on what you would recommend for all the newer players coming in.